Hi, good evening everyone. We'll wait for few people to join us. So today again we are going live with Mr. Srinivas Chakkani. We already had done a session with him. But today's session is only about toys. How toys play a very important role in pets' life. So different kind of toys and especially about Kong toys. I think he's here. He'll join us in a few seconds. I think I'll have to send him a request once again. Send him a request. I think he'll join us.
Hi,
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
how are you? Oh, good.
Good, good.
I hope things are very good with you.
Yes.
Uh, so, since we're talking about Kong today,
Yes.
what we'll be doing is before I even get on to the point of toys, I would actually like to first start about why do we give our dogs toys. Now generally, if you ask a vet or if you ask anybody about the first thing that you ask when you get a new puppy and you ask them what should I get, they tell them food, what to get, and they tell you what kind of supplements to give, what medications and what vaccinations. Uh, very less times do people actually decide that what kind of toys that we should give them. People don't realize that sometimes dogs need a different kind of enrichment as well, because food can provide you with uh, say, for physical nourishment, it can provide you with food, etc., with nutrition, etc. But for mental emotional nourishment, it takes a lot of different kind of mobilities, it takes a lot of different kind of actions, it takes a lot of different kind of uh, usefulness for the dog to feel content, for the dog to feel happy about things. That's the reason why we generally start with having our dogs trained, because when you train a dog, you're teaching the dog to have that kind of bond. But in our modern lives, we cannot really spend that much of time that we normally do with our dogs, and it sometimes creates a lot of issues for the dogs. Uh, why is because dogs again are pack animals, and when they don't get that kind of physical and mental nourishment, it causes a lot of issues for them, where even dogs can get depressed, unhappy, and they can create havoc for themselves and the people around them. So when we do such kind of when we do offer toys to dogs, it's not only for so that they are playing, but play as a form of work is what is being offered by us, because of which dogs generally stay the contented like we do. So if I would have to compare it with a small child, for that matter, when a child is growing up, we offer the child different outputs, where it's not, food obviously is taken care of, but we introduce the child to different kind of plays. Different kind, nowadays it's different kind of gadgets and games as well, with electronic equipment, this and that. But if you notice, for the dogs also, we give them a lot of different kind of for children, we give them a lot of different kind of toys. Some are educationally, some are only for play, some bring happiness, some teach. So we do this because we have realized that as children grow up, they pick up a lot with these things. They learn things like sharing, they learn things like, data interpretation and reasoning, and things like that, where it helps them when they finally do go to school and make friends, etc. So in the same way, we have also come to realize that even dogs, for that matter, actually need that kind of nourishment that we offer for children, because we don't realize that what's the kind of nourishment that we can offer for our dog. It was earlier thought that, oh wait, my dog is only spending time chilling at home and he gets his food, and why does he need to
Right.
work? Well, we do need to realize that most of the dogs that we have around us, whether you're looking at an indie, whether you're looking at any breed in particular, whether you're looking at a mixed breed or any particular kind of, this is applicable even for other animals though. Each and every animal out there has certain kind of respect for its surroundings, because it's a big thing nowadays to be having them as pets and as family members. But earlier they were still out there for work purposes. So labs did some work, golden retrievers did work, even Saint Bernards and Huskies worked. In fact, Huskies, Terriers, German Shepherds, etc., they still work for us when you look at the relevant sector. What happens when you get a hardcore workaholic person sitting at home? I'm sure people who have sat home during the lockdown might
Yes.
realize that how frustrating it gets. That exactly is what happens when dogs don't get that kind of an output, when they can't exchange the kind of work and the mutual respect that they have for their work, and it doesn't come out as a form of fulfillment. Dogs start showing a lot of different kind of signs. In the earlier video also, we spoke about how dogs behave in anxiety, how dogs behave in destruction, and why those things happen. Well, we can always categorize it at about 7 to 8 different things, but what it comes down to is, it's very important for dogs to realize that it's not for dogs as well as for us to realize that it's not only about eating, sleeping, and possibly walking for about half an hour twice a day. It's
Right.
much more than that, because dogs, when they wake up in the morning, like you and I, also look forward to things to do.
Right.
So, since we're talking about Kong, what we do when we offer Kong toys to our dogs. Now, generally, when it comes down to regard of Kong toys, we very firmly believe that it actually helps us in offering solutions to not only basic issues that we generally come across, but also for issues that that are a little more rare set or not so common as well. So it's not only for people that where it starts with dogs, mouthing, teething,
Right.
where they, as a young puppy, they are biting anything and everything that they can put their mouth on, but also for things like weight management, for weight control. Generally, what people think that for weight control, oh, I'll just shift the dog to something that's more, um,
Low fat
you know,
or
apt for my dog's weight, just like a diet.
right.
But what they don't realize is with the diet, you also need to have something to offer to that dog, because generally a lot of dogs don't eat their food if they are not hungry.
Correct.
You might be knowing a lot of people who generally actually, they do hand feeding because, oh, my dog's not eating. And a lot many times, if you look at those dogs without any medical reason as well, it could be a Labrador who's 60 kilos, or it could be a Golden Retriever who's 55 kilos. Um, we have seen overweight beagles, we have seen overweight pugs as well.
Right.
And so we use Kongs for weight management. We use Kongs
Okay.
for training our dogs as well, because a lot of dogs, for that matter, are working dogs. Even today, just because we have brought them home doesn't mean that they don't know what work is. Working dogs, when offered toys like Kongs, functional toys that are actually relevant to those kind of breeds, it actually makes it very important for them to connect to that particular scenario, where they think that, okay, I'm getting to do some work. That means I'm content. When I'm content, I'm happy. And it's always like a very good thing, that we hear across, where a tired dog is a happy dog. And we have just sort of kind of taken it onto us that we make sure that dogs are happy and tired, because if dogs are happy and tired, they are not doing masti, not at least destructive masti, where happy masti is obviously very much important and needed as well, because dogs need to be happy as well. But at the same time, dogs need to play as well. Another small example, if I may. So imagine somebody who has a work that is play. So maybe take our cricketers for that matter. Cricketers, the sport for them is not only about cricket, but it's also their work. They earn out of it. That's their livelihood. So when they go out to play, the person, there's a fielder, there's a bowler, etc., etc. But when we look at it from our TV screens, we look at it in an emotional manner. When our team wins, we are happy. When our team loses, we're not ready. We're sad. When our favorite player gets out, or there's a boundary, or there's a six or something, we should see the different kind of emotions. If the opposing team is winning very easily, we get angry. Something as simple, even in terms of environment. When it starts raining, we get angry. Arey, barish kahan se ho gayi? So look at the amount of emotions that comes across when we as humans look at it, and it might sound surprising to a lot of people, but they don't realize that dogs are actually capable of the same kind of emotions that you and I go through. So a dog that has successfully caught a ball in the air, or removed a treat from inside the Kong, they actually do feel happy and content. They think that, okay, I've done something. So imagine for that matter, if now this is the Kong bouncer. So imagine for that matter, this is soft, right? It is not fillable. But what my dog does with this is, because it's lightweight, he keeps on flicking it in the air. What happens then? It's called a bouncer. So it bounces around completely unpredictably. The same thing happens with the Kongs as well. So when you throw it, it bounces around, and there's a complete 100% unpredictability in it. My terrier goes crazy, because that's what terriers are supposed to do. They're supposed to hunt, and no rabbit is going to run straight. They'll always go crisscross, because they want to save their life as well. Now, obviously, my terrier is not going hunting, but I ideally showed it, yes, because it was made for that purpose. So when I make him sit at home and do nothing, he gets absolutely irritated. So what I do, there are times when I fill the Kong with foods that he likes. He loves the banana, he loves curd, he loves peanut butter. So my wife takes it and offers it to him. He's absolutely happy. Even right now, he's sitting and staring at me because I've got the Kong in my hand. He thinks I'm going to offer something in it. So when you talk about bouncer, he throws around. It's the unpredictability that they love. What happens when these dogs can not judge where that particular toy is flying off is, now they have to use their mind, thinking, oh, where will this go? Oh, where will that go? So it's fulfilling their basic instincts, which generally we are not able to. The best trainers out there also sometimes fail to give the kind of outcome that the dogs want. We do offer, a lot of trainers will offer you the outcomes for the people's problems. Oh, my dog is chewing the shoes. Oh, my dog is barking a lot. But a lot of us actually look for solutions without thinking about why the problem is occurring. Many a times it's just because the poor dog is not happy. It's that poor dog doesn't get a kind of outcome that it requires, because we have failed to understand that this particular dog, or this particular breed, or this particular cat for that matter, or even birds, benefit from it. I offer Kongs for a lot of different animals in my house as well. I've got birds. They do get the Kong. My dogs get it. Cats, I don't have a cat, but then cats can get it as well. I'll show you some videos, some photos here that you might connect to. That's one of the zoos. That's a bear playing with the Kong extra large, and that's a meerkat, Timon and Pumbaa from Lion King. So what we've done is, the wobbler is filled with insects, and they love to play with that. So it's an outcome. So that's the bouncer. That's dolphins in Tokyo Zoo that we offer Kongs for. So it's not only for dogs and cats. It's across
All
different kind of animals, because what do animals in the zoos do? They do the exact same thing that animals in our houses do, right? Nothing.
Right.
They get fed, they get water. The zookeeper might play with them or try and enrich them for a little bit, but that's it. Neither does the zookeeper have that much of time to spend the whole day with a particular animal. Neither do we, because we have to go to work. So
Correct.
that's the reason why we offer different kind of toys. So
So
our
is there
toys are
is there a way to introduce toys? Because lot of people say कि we have toys but मेरा dog bore हो जाता है. एक दिन खेला, 2 दिन खेला, उसके बाद he doesn't touch the toy.
okay. So generally, what happens is there are 2 points in this from what you said. I'll first go with the second point. So when a lot of people actually come across to us, even as a trainer, a lot of people ask me that my dog is not playing with its toy.
Yeah.
The number one reason for that is because either the dog has got the toy for so long that wo pura novelty is gone. The dog thinks that, oh, I have it with me, anytime,
Yes.
and I can play with it whenever I want. So it causes a lot of devaluation of the toy. So what happens when there's a devaluation of the toy? The dog starts thinking that, okay, it's there. I can play with it whenever I want.
Anytime, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like same thing with children. Earlier, we used to have rules. You can only watch TV for 1 hour a day. You can only watch play the game for 1 hour a day. But nowadays, with so many gadgets, children get bored quicker, but they have more games than what
Yes.
we probably had as child. So why does that happen? Because there's no curtailation happening. There's nothing for the child or the dog, for that matter, to look forward to, thinking that, oh, it's going to be 5 o'clock soon and I'm going to go and watch my favorite show, or I'm going to play my favorite game. So the best solution out there is keep your toys in a basket. So I have a basket. You can look at you can all see all the teeth mark and all. So this is Blitz's basket. It's got all his toys in there. Okay. So what I do, at the end of the day, all the toys generally stay in the basket. If he wants to play, if he wants to play by himself, he can pull it out. If he wants to play with us, he will pull it out and bring it for us. So I can tell him, get me the crocodile, or I can tell him, get me the Kong, or I can tell him, get me the tuck toy, and he will go ahead and get that particular toy for me, because he's learned the cue words that, oh, tuck toy means this is a tuck toy, where I'm holding in one hand and he can pull. If I say Kong, he knows what the Kong is. If I keep multiple Kongs, he waits for us to ask which Kong
Which
I
one
want.
to? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not very difficult to do all those things, because dogs are very, very sharp. It's just that we haven't harnessed that kind of intelligence that they have. So the number one point is, have like a basket or something in the house, keep it, and the dog only gets to play with the toys during its active time. So when it's sleeping or gone for a walk or eating food and resting, all the toys goes into a basket or goes into the cupboard, where the dog does not get to see it. The second thing you can do is, it's actually not useful for my dog, this one, but my earlier German Shepherd, what I used to do, particular toys had particular numbers. So if I have 10 toys, each of them are assigned number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So on Monday, the dog gets toy number 1. On Tuesday, the dog gets toy number 2. And it gets repeated. When Monday is over, toy number 1 goes back to the cupboard. When Tuesday is done, toy number 2 goes back to the cupboard. By the time we have reached toy number 10, he's not played with toy number 1 for almost
10 days.
10 days now. So now when it comes out, the dog says, oh wow, I want to play. I haven't seen this toy in 10
Yeah,
days.
he'll value it more.
Absolutely. So there's a very high value attached to it then. So that's one way of looking at it. Now comes the answer to your first question. What you were talking about,
how do
I get my dog to play? Yeah. Or introduce the dog. See, generally, what we do, we take a toy. Possibly we pick up from the store. So I've come down to your store, I've picked up a toy, and I'm going home. The moment I go home, with a very poker face, I take the toy and I tell my dog, here, this is for you. And then I go about my business. Where's the excitement gone? There's no excitement, there's no enticement. are you going to do this? Say, imagine. Oh, by the way, apologies. That's my cockatiel. Who's, if you can hear the little chirping sounds,
Yes.
that's my cockatiel, and this is his excitement time. So, um, so uh, imagine Diwali day. You're getting new clothes and new toys for the kids, but your face is completely poker. People will think something's gone wrong with you.
Right.
So the same way, when we are offering something for the dog,
So the excitement value
there
has
has
to.
to be some kind of enticement and excitement in it. So if I'm doing it, so if Srinivas buys a Kong from Just Dogs, I take the toy, I go home, and the moment I reach home, I open the bag and I say, "Look what I have for you," and then the dog says, "Oh, he's got something for me today." So whenever I travel for work and I pick up a toy or something for him, that's exactly what I do. The first thing when I enter the house, look what I've got for you, and then suddenly you can see that little tail go, "Oh, okay, that's something nice coming out for me now," and they want to, so they're looking forward to it. The second thing, sometimes some dogs don't realize that certain toys can be played in a certain way. So what they do is, so what we do is we like we teach children when they don't realize how to play a particular game, or the first time they're learning to do something like computers or something. So what we do, we take their hand and we show. So what we do is, so if I'm holding a Kong in my hand and my dog has no idea how to play with it, I'll start playing with it. Generally, most of the dogs that you will have ever come across have something called as play drive or a prey drive. It's actually called a prey drive, but then there's nothing to prey on nowadays, so we call it a play drive.
Play drive.
So what happens now? Each and every dog has that kind of play drive, and I'm going to use that to my benefit. So when I'm enticing him to play, so I'll say, "Hey, look at me, what I've gotten," and I'm playing with him. Soon he will say, "Oh, the toy is falling and bouncing everywhere and anywhere it wants to." So slowly and steadily that instinct comes out. Nothing in the world can control an instinct from coming out. It's just that you have to do it in the right manner. And I'll do a little bit of teasing, I'll pull the toy away, I'll show, I'll pull again, and then I'll run around, bouncing the toy a little bit. Eventually the dog realizes that, "Oh, wow, okay, I'm going to try and see what this is." And that's how you offer the toy. But one more important point that comes off to your wonderful question is, whether am I getting the right toy for my dog?
That is the most important thing.
That's because a lot of people actually, see, first of all, as far as toys are concerned, it's still a relatively newer topic in India. It's a much more mature topic, abroad, but it's a much more newer topic in India. What happens is, initially, in the olden days when we used to have dogs, in those days we used to have bigger bungalows, etc. And dogs would be just out there in the veranda or the compound, going
Running
around
and
there.
playing.
You would give them the normal food, but look at where we are nowadays. We have 10 different kind of brands in the market for food. We have 10 different kind of clothing also. We have so many accessories and leashes and collar, because dogs are no longer outside animals. They have come home and they become family now. Earlier it was like, "Oh, okay, I have a dog," but now they've become family.
Their family.
So when we look at them as a family, that's the reason, that's the point where we started realizing, "Oh wait, it's not only food and shelter and water that my dog needs, there is something more that my dog craves for." That's when toys started coming into the picture. So the main idea behind the Kong was, so the first Kong that ever came out is the Extreme, that's right behind you.
This one.
The black one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the original Kong. So the story behind the Kong is, actually, did you know the co-founder for Kong is actually a German Shepherd called Fritz?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Kong was actually founded not by a human but a dog. That's the reason why dogs all over the world love the Kong so much. So this is a story of almost 45 years back. The dog is obviously no longer around. The founder of Kong was repairing his van,
Okay.
and a particular suspension part of the car's body looked exactly the same like the Extreme Kong behind
This one,
you.
yeah.
And he just picked it up and he started running away with it. So that's Fritz, the German Shepherd, our founder, and that's the part that you see.
Oh, It's look very similar to this. Exactly like
Absolutely.
the Kong Extreme.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why our first Kong was black in color. It was black in color not only because of the color sharing, but the black ones are the purest rubber possible. So when you remove rubber sap from the rubber tree, you get and you process it and make it into pure rubber. You can't add anything to it. It's just pure rubber, and you have the extreme. Then we also realized that it's not very easy for a lot of dogs to bite or play with the extreme. So we came up with the classics. Now the classics are softer than the it's just above you. So the classics are softer, again made out of pure rubber. The only difference is we have put some food grade color in it, and we've made the rubber a little softer so that other dogs, average dogs can also play with. And then we came out with the puppy Kong that you have in your hand. Yeah, so the puppy Kong again is two different colors. There's pink and there's blue. The color absolutely doesn't make any difference. The puppy Kong is like the puppy Kong. They are both similar materials. They are soft so that puppies don't get hurt when they are playing, because puppies have very tiny teeth and the gums are very sore and soft. So we don't want to hurt them, obviously. It has to be a positive experience for puppies when they want to play with them. So what's the difference between, the basic question I get, what's the difference between them? Why are some Kongs black in color, why are some red in color, and why are some pink and blue? So the
Also,
pink
we
and
have
blue are
different
just
sizes.
different sizes as well. We have something as small, as a so that's, I think you still have the medium, is it?
This is small. This is small.
Okay, so we have one that is even smaller than that. So the small, if people want, so that's how the small is. Then we have the extra small, which is literally this size. Then we have the medium.
This is the medium.
That's the medium. Then you've got the large. That's the difference between small and large. And then we also have the extra large. I have the extra large with me. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
So that's the extra large. We also have the double XL that I don't have it right now. It's almost as big as the small wobbler. No, I don't think double XL we have in India, because we don't have that many big dogs. So
I can show the wobbler.
Yeah, the wobbler might be around. It's almost as big as the wobbler. There you go. So we'll come back to the wobbler a little later.
Yes.
So why have we put so much emphasis on our toys that are specifically made out of rubber? Because rubber is a very common ingredient which generally dogs play with. If you see most of the toys around you, it is there in rubber as well. It's not harmful. If the dog bites onto it, it's not going to hurt its gum, it's not going to hurt its teeth, etc. Now, why is that the Kong's rubber is different? So for us, the biggest point, if we are offering anything to our dogs, it's like we're offering it to our babies. The biggest point that I'm looking at is safety. So if a dog happens to bite a Kong and small pieces of rubber come out of it and the dog bites it, I'll give you 100% assurance that the dog's not going to fall sick. It's not going to harm the dog. In fact, if people want, they can go online today and search the number of incidences we have with Kong. They'll come with almost zero number. Why? Is because even while we offer the Kong, we focus on three basic points emphasized so that the dog can have a safe play. I'll come to those points a little later, but right now, why are those rubbers different? So the extreme rubber is actually the hardest rubber. We offer this for hyperactive chewers, dogs that are super hyperactive or have a lot of jaw strength. So imagine a hyper Rottweiler or a hyper Husky where they destroy everything very easily. For them, we offer the extreme. The classics for the other matter, are generally there for all the average dogs, all the average activity dogs. So any dog that is over 1 year old, you can offer it to them. And then you have the puppy Kongs. generally we offer the puppy Kongs for very young puppies to puppies that are as big as almost 1 year old.
Okay.
So how I would transit is a young puppy, we'll give them the puppy. Once the puppy is a little over 1 year old, we give them the classics. The extremes we only prefer to give it for hyperactive dogs. Now the extreme, all of them are obviously solid rubber, but the extremes are the hardest and the most long-lasting ones because they're really really hard. A lot of people actually do the mistake of buying the extreme directly because they think it's long-lasting. So I don't. What happens is, I'll come down to the reverse sneezing issue. It could be the weather. You should ask your vet. Nevertheless, so when it comes down to the black Kongs, the extremes, if I offer it to a puppy, even if the puppy is destructive, they are not going to be able to bite it up. So they don't want to play with it. So the 3 points that we focus on when we talk about offering the correct toy for the dog, we look at the size of the dog and the size of the mouth. Some dogs are smaller in size but have bigger mouths like the English Bulldog. Some dogs like the Rottweilers are large dogs with bigger mouths. Then you have Great Danes who have even wider mouths. So sometimes you can't give them the smaller toy because they can get locked into their jaw, right? That's why we also have a safety feature in the Kong. If you can see, there's a small hole.
Yes.
In case if it ever comes to it, where we are holding the Kong in our mouth, or the dog's holding the top Kong in the mouth, and it gets stuck sometimes. Like we are familiar with things like lockjaw, etc. It can hurt the dog. So breathing should not be a problem. So that's the safety point of it as well. Plus, one more fact: Kongs are the only toys that actually will not cause an obstruction in the body, in a sense where if it's gone into the body, because of the kind of texture that it has, unless and until it's not a huge piece, it will not be an obstruction. It will go through the process and come out as poo, or they can puke it out as well. So that's the safety point of it. Kongs also, we don't add any ingredients. So if you take a Kong and you give it to a laboratory for testing, you are not going to have any ingredient in the Kong that says, oh, this is harmful for dogs. Even in fact, the rubber that we produce, normally if you're familiar with how the rubber manufacturing takes place, you have to add sulfur to rubber to make it strong. That's what they do with our tires, car tires, etc. That's also the reason why we tell people not to give car tires for your dogs to bite, because it can harm them. Sulfur is really, really toxic and poisonous.
Yes.
So what do we do about it? So the reason why we take such pride in our toys is because it's manufactured without sulfur. The rubber, we have a process of manufacturing rubber without sulfur, so it does not really cause a lot of issues to the dogs, and hence the safety point goes very high. Because for us, it's the first point is about whether my dog is safely enjoying the treat, safely enjoying the toy.
Right.
So the first point is obviously the mouth size and the strength of the dog. Then we look at the age. We have puppies, we have adult dogs, and we have senior dogs. For senior dogs, there's something called as a senior Kong as well. But again, what happens in India, a lot of people don't, they are still not that sort of familiar with the concept. So what we do is, for senior dogs, we offer them the puppy Kongs. The senior Kongs are purple in color, but we offer them the puppy Kongs because they're almost as soft. Now, why is it that senior dogs have softer Kongs like puppy Kongs? Is because as the dog ages, the teeth again gums become soft, and they don't have a lot of strength, and the dogs are slowing down. So it can cause a lot of distress to the animal if we give them a wrong size or a wrong type of rubber. So we have to make sure that dogs are provided with the right kind of rubber with the right kind of size as well. Also, a lot of people sometimes get confused. What size do I get? The basic answer is, generally, you look at the mouth, size of the mouth, you look at the strength of the dog, you look at the age of the dog. But if you ever have a doubt that this particular toy will be small for my dog, we always buy a size small. Because if the size is big, the dog can still play with it, minus the fact that it can get stuck. But if it's small, it can get stuck sometimes with the dog. So you have to be very careful. So that's about the rubber. So we also have toys that are made out of PPR, toys that are made out of cloth. What happens is, what's the difference between toys that are made out of cloth for us? So, so that's the cutesies. So if you press the press the fins of the cutesies, you can hear a little crinkly noise.
Crinkly, yes.
Right? Now, inside obviously is the stuffing. If you run your hand on the surface, you can feel it's furry, right? And inside them, there should be a squeaker in it. It will squeak as well. There you go. My dog was playing with some other toy, suddenly looking at the phone and as this came up.
Right.
So why are Kong toys having these different kind of noises and sounds? So a squeak is a very natural sound that almost any animal makes when when they are in distress. So when they are running away from an animal, when a dog is trying to catch a rat or something, they squeak, right? So it entices the dog. The dog is happy, like, oh wow, this is coming. The furriness is again for the same matter, for the dog to feel content that, oh, I'm actually holding an animal in my mouth. Okay, because our dogs obviously never get to hunt, right? But we want to give them the feeling that, hey, you know what, you are still a hunter. So, and the crinkliness is again for the same matter, because some animals have the very mild bones, etc. So it crinkles a little bit when dogs are hunting. So when we make toys, as Kong, when we make toys, we're looking at what does this particular animal like to do. We saw them in action and we started seeing, oh, this is what they like, oh, this is what they want to do. And that's the reason why I always say that, there are some toys that are not made to be looking very beautiful, but these toys are made to be functional, because dogs need to be happy. So you've got the Wiggies as well, yes. So these are beautiful for retrievers, because retrievers like to hold something in their mouth, and they hold it into their mouth, run around the whole house squeaking, because they just love the fact that, oh, that I've got a new toy with me and I'm running around. So they love holding objects, and hence these kind of toys were made for them. We also have teething toys that are there's a jump and jack and dental next to you.
Jump and jack.
Yeah. So the dental is a very good teething toy where dogs can hold it and they can bite. Obviously, you can if you can show the space in between the dental for us. Yeah. So there are ridges inside, lines inside, which acts as brushing agents. That's the puppy dental. And the beautiful thing is, if you put like paneer or something pasty into those lines and freeze it, and you give it to your dog, the dogs actually love sitting and biting onto it and licking. So they are not only getting nutrition, but they are also massaging their gums, so less chance of the puppy chewing everywhere else. And they are also cleaning their teeth because of the ridges inside the dental. So it's just a beautiful interaction for them. It's a very good way of teaching your dog to brush its teeth itself. The jump and jack works almost similar to the dental. The only difference is, because of the size, when you throw it as a fetch toy, it will go wherever it wants to. So the dog feels, oh wait, where is this going? Because what happens with the ball, when you throw the ball, it goes straight. It might hit a wall and go left and right. But with things like the Kong, the jump and jack, etc., when you throw it, it is such unpredictable that one time I'll throw it, will go to the left, one it will go behind me, one it will go over me, once it will go straight. So the dog is always thinking that, oh, where will it go now? So it's made to be enticing the dog and keeping the dog's mind occupied and thinking that, oh wait, where is it going to go now? So there's a strategy. There's happiness. There's different kind of emotions that comes into play. So when you talk about
this goody bone.
Okay, so the goody bone you have is the extreme one. We also have that in puppy as well as the classics as well, the red ones. Yeah. Now, why is the goody bone used? The goody bone is generally used as a chew stick where dogs can hold and chew on it. At the same time, the goodie bone also has those holes in between where you can fill it with biscuits, you can fill it with peanut butter, you can fill it with paneer or chicken or something that the dog loves. Remember, whenever you put anything in an interactive toy, it's something that your dog should love. A lot of dogs, a lot of owners do the mistake where they put dog food into their dog's toys. Well, dog food, to वैसे भी we are getting it in the bowl, no? I get it
So
3 or 4
excitement
times a
factor
day.
नहीं, nothing
So
new.
excitement factor has to be. So I always tell people, put something that your dog loves. So if I want to use something for my dog, I'll use a banana. He will leave chicken and come for banana. He'll leave like okay, I don't want chicken anymore, and then he'll come for banana. So I'll put banana in the toys, like goodie bones, like the dentals that you showed us, where he's super happy to want it. It's something that the dog should want it. Because another saying that it goes with us is the magic happens when you stuff the Kong, but you need to stuff it with something that the dog likes. So that's a very common mistake that people do, where they put just dog food in there and they expect the dog to play with it. Well, the dog food is coming free of cost, so they don't need to do any mehnat with it. So it comes just like that. So we need to offer something that the dog really enjoys to play with and chew on, etc. Then it comes down to things like oh wait, but my dog is chewing on to furniture, or my dog is chewing on to my leather slippers, or my dog just chewed up my remotes. So there are some dogs that, especially around the teething phase, when they are getting their rare molars, or dogs that just really like to chew a lot, like beagles. You have basset hounds, you have beagles, you have terriers who want to bite a lot. For them, we have a beautiful product. I think we should have it. It's called the Core Strength. So the Core Strength is something that's one of my favorite chewies. I have it for my dogs as well. So the outer area, if you can feel the area, you can see that it's actually a little soft compared to. So when the dog can bite on it, it actually massages the gums. The internal area is reinforced, so it's really hard. So if the dog wants it as a challenge, it's not going to be very easy. It's designed particularly for dogs that love to chew. I've recommended this for my Pitbull clients and my friends who have Rottweilers and German Shepherds. So these dogs have gone through wooden toys like this, but when I offer them the Core Strength, they are super happy and they say, "Oh wait, this is beautiful." For one of my super disruptive Rottweiler clients, he literally one day broke metal by chewing on it. Right? So imagine the amount of strength that they have. And this toy lasted him a whole month. For a dog like that, for the toy to hold a whole month, the owners were super happy because, hey, it's not destroying my stuff, right? So it comes down to whether you are offering the right product. It comes down to whether you are giving the right toy for your dog. So if it comes down to retrievers, generally I give them squeakers like Air Dogs, like the Cutesies that you showed me. The Wabba works beautifully as well. We have the Kong tails also that do well. Then we have the ball with the rope that does beautifully. So these particular kind of toys does beautifully with guard dogs. Works beautifully with. You've got the tennis shoes as well. These are my dog's favorite ones. Because not only does the dog get a soft toy, but they also get 4 balls because the legs are the balls, right? And they just go crazy thinking, oh, which ball should I play with? And so if you can show me the tennis shoes again, something that our participants might want to hear. So there's black hair on the back of it, right? That fur is individually stitched. So if you can, Purvi, do the honors, just hold the black fur and just very mildly pull on it. Mildly pull on it. How much hair came out? Maybe 1 or 2? Yeah, but if you compare it with other toys, when you do that pulling, you will sometimes a bunch comes out. Because we have particularly made it such that each of them are individually stitched. So if the dog tries to pull, the moment you give this toy to any dog, the first thing the dog's going to do is try and remove that fur. So we don't want the dog to choke on these things. That's the reason we have engineered our products such that even when the dog bites, it should not be dangerous for the dog. So it's not only that our core products like the rubber are safe for our dogs, we make sure that the other products are equally safe. So across all our cloth products as well. When you pull out their cloth, you will not see them coming out in bunch where the dog can swallow and can choke. We do it, we make it such that even if the dog tries to destroy, it will come out in one or two strands, which is absolutely fine. The dog, it comes
Right.
out in poop. It doesn't harm the dog at all.
So
So
before we end, I would like to talk you about the wobbler,
the
the
wobbler,
most
that's
loved
this
toy by
is
all the dogs.
all over the world.
Yeah.
Ask us about it. So the wonderful thing about the wobbler is, wait, I'll get you my wobbler as well, because the beautiful thing about this is it's made out of solid plastic. Okay. Again, this one is made in the USA as well. Uh, I've had, look at the thickness of the plastic. It's super thick. Look at my finger next to it. So it's made out of really beautiful quality. I've had dogs like Great Danes and Rottweilers somehow picking it up and throwing it across the room. It is hitting the
Right.
wall and falling on the ground and nothing happens. That's the beautiful thing of the toy. The lower part is actually sealed and filled with sand so that even if the dog drops it, it cannot puncture and nothing can come out. So it's made out of a beautiful material. So you can fill treats inside.
Yeah.
If you see the hole is actually a little above the general flooring. So when you fill treats inside, a lot of us might have seen that when we were young, we had these boxing toys that when
Punching
you
toys.
box,
Yeah.
yeah, so that when you punch, what happens is it'll again stand up. So that this is exactly how this is made for. So when my dog kicks on it, it automatically stands up on its own. It automatically stands up on its own. So see, it comes back. And some dogs get irritated that why is it standing up? So while it is standing, um, while you're playing with it, while the dog is playing with it, occasionally when the toy bounces back, a toy falls out, or a treat falls out.
Treat.
Now the beautiful thing is, there's no guarantee that a treat will fall out. Sometimes nothing will come out. Sometimes one will come out. Sometimes 3 or 4 will come together. So again, unpredictability comes into play. So uh, when you are giving it to dogs, why am I saying this word unpredictability again and again? When you're playing with dogs, a lot of dogs also have something that we dread that our dogs don't get. It's called anxiety. The same way that we are not happy that we should get anxiety, the same way even dogs, when they get anxiety, they show us a lot of destructive measures and show a lot of fear. They sometimes destroy out of fear, etc. And what happens is these dogs are living stressful lives, and stress, obviously, like for us, it's not really good for dogs. So you have anxiety cases where dogs are going through boredom, and that's why they're having stress. They're not a lot of time is being spent with them. We have dogs that stay home alone and they're not happy that they're staying home alone. We have dogs that have some kind of medical issues because of which they get stressed. So you will always see dogs that injure themselves. So they'll keep on licking their foot so much that it actually starts bleeding.
Yes.
Dogs that bite their tail a lot. Dogs that scratch a lot so much that it starts bleeding because of the constant scratching.
Right.
Dogs that will destroy furniture because, see, these are all symptoms of stress. So when I use the word unpredictability, that's because we are giving the dog outcome where it can either focus on the stress or focus on something that is rewarding. So since we were talking about the wobbler, so imagine now my dog likes say biscuits. Fill this with biscuits. I keep it on the ground and I'm inside the house, but I'm roaming around. The dog knows that I'm going to go out for work, especially now that the lockdown is almost getting over and people are getting back to work. So when I keep a Kong filled and I keep it on the ground, so imagine I put treats, I put banana, I put curd, I've frozen it and I'm giving it to my dog. So my dog can take 2 options. The first option is it keeps on looking at me because I'm getting ready to go to work. So it sees that, oh, he's taken a bath, he's wearing his office clothes, he's taken his car keys, oh, he's leaving the house. And then every step that you do, the dog is getting more and more stressed. Now, the second outcome is, before I even get ready, I have a Kong ready with me. I've put treats in there. I've frozen it for some extra effort for the dog, for the extra challenge, and I give it to my dog. So my dog says, oh, I've got something interesting in here that I want. So while the dog is licking, I'm getting ready. Possibly I've left for work as well. My dog's not even realized. So the steps to stress is reduced. In fact, in some cases, we've removed the stress completely. So that's the reason why in things like anxiety it works beautifully, because you're offering the dog an outcome where it can carry on stress and it can carry on to go on to something that is much more valuable. The dog chooses something that is much more valuable instead of choosing stress, because dogs as animals will never like to live around with stress. They love to have something that is much more challenging. They like to have something that is much more nutritive and something that keeps their mind occupied. That's what we want. The more tired and occupied that dog is, the lesser chance of the dog causing any issues for itself or the houses or the household and its members. So,
so we have almost 5 minutes. We have a question about more about
the
soft
shells.
toys.
Okay, one.
Yeah.
So if you can show me the shells first.
Yeah.
So if you see the shells again has, so the middle part is canvas kind of material. So it's tough for the dog to remove it. It squeaks if you press on it. And it's a different kind of squeak. It's not the squeak that you hear in squeak toys. There you go.
Yeah.
So you see the spikes coming out. They are very soft TPR material where it's not hurting you. So what happens when you offer it to the dog will first start biting the spikes.
Yes.
Okay. So it's completely safe. Even if the dog gets ingested, it will come out in poop. The cloth material also used is super, long lasting. It cannot be destroyed. The fur cannot be removed very easily. It squeaks so that dogs love to play with squeakers, etc. This is not a bite toy. Most of the cloth products are not bite toys. They are made for dogs that like to play fetch or that like to hold on to toys into their mouth. The Waba also is a beautiful toy. You can play tug with it. You can play fetch with it. And because of the kind of material it has, it's not very easy to destroy. It's very thick material. Then we have the Kong nuts. This is my favorite of the cloth toys. So the knots so if you close your eyes and you are feeling the toy, it looks like you're holding a small animal. You can feel its bones, you can feel the furry material, you can feel the squeak, etc. That's exactly what you're offering to the dog as well. That look, I know you're a hunter, but you can't hunt. Here's something that will at least mimic the same instincts that you have. And that actually offers a very beautiful way of fulfillment for the dog. And it's again, the rope that we have in the Kong knots, it's actually very thin fibers that have been put together. So even if the dog bites and chews onto it and eats up a little bit, it's not going to be harmful for the dog. Same thing for the cloth material.
Right. So even we have some toys for cats as well.
Okay, so cats love toys that are much more chasing, and that's the reason you have feathers on them. So the feather that you have in the snake that you're holding in your hand and the kickaroo lower the tail area, the tail area it's just plain cloth material where the cat just kind of paws around and likes to play with it, and the kickaroo that you have is infused with catnip. So what the beautiful thing about the catnip part is, not all cats will react to it the way we want it, and the most wonderful thing is cats like to decide, or cats get to decide when they want to react to catnip or not. So what is catnip, first of all? So catnip is actually a plant. It's a podha. It's almost as big as tulsi. You know how big our tulsis get. And so what happens, catnip has this essential oil, which sometimes it's there in the wild. It's all across the world. You can find catnip. So if you go on YouTube and search cats or animals with catnip, you will see most of the cat families, including lions, tigers, leopards, even small cats, they play with catnip. So what they do is they'll go to the plant and they'll chew on it a little bit. So the plant leaves out essential oils. And just say the scent hits the cat gets a good feeling about it. They just feel superbly contented, they become calm. So how catnip works is, the beautiful thing is for cats, or how catnip works is, if you give it to a calm cat, the cat will start playing around. If you give it to a very hyperactive cat, the cat becomes calm.
Okay.
So sometimes cats will play with catnip and smell and sleep for longer durations of time. Sometimes they play around a lot extra. So catnip works differently with different kind of cats, but there are certain breeds of cats like the English bobcat, etc., where catnip doesn't work. We have yet to determine why some cats are able to decide whether catnip works with them or not. It's still undergoing some research, so till the scientists don't have the answer, we won't really have the answer for that. But cats love catnip, the bottom line of that being. Also, the other toy that you showed us, the snake one, is the feathers that you see on it. They're actual real feathers. We don't use fake feathers. They are real feathers that you see on it, so that the cat can attach to it, can get attached to it. That's essentially a chaser toy, because cats love to chase.
Love to
You see a
chase.
lot of commercials where they are putting these teasers on sticks, and then they ask the cat to chase, etc. Because it's very natural for cats to do that. And again,
Right.
cats and dogs are two different animals. What cats like, dogs don't like, and what dogs like, cats don't like. So even in the wild, cats spend close to 15-20 hours doing nothing, and then only about 5-6 hours where they are roaming around trying to find prey. And when they find a rat or something that they hunt, they eat and they are done. They'll go back to sleep. So cats are much more relaxed animals, and same thing goes about when they want to play as well. Uh, you can entice a dog, you cannot entice a
Right.
cat. A cat plays when it wants to. And but yeah, the catnip products and the chasers, etc., they are 100% safe. The catnip also is North American. It's not at all harmful for our cats. You can use it very easily. Uh, None of the cat toys are designed such that they can be dangerous for cats, because what can be dangerous for a dog cannot be dangerous for a cat, and vice versa. So we make sure that each and every toy that has been manufactured for each and every animal has been made specifically safe for those kind of animals. So so
Right.
that they can play with it without any kind of worry, without you having the fear that my dog or my animal or my bird or my cat or my horse or my pig or whatever that you have is not getting hurt, and they're happy. We give out comms to a lot of rescue centers where they take care of dogs, they take care of pigs, they take care of monkeys, etc., that they rescue, the forest department, etc. Even in India, I personally go visit their facilities, and we offer them, because a lot of these centers have a lot of animals in pain. So sometimes they are there in the center because there's some surgery taking place. Sometimes they are hurt, and we are looking for something that can take their pain away. So we try to divert their mind from the pain that they are going through to something positive that comes in the form of calm. So we offer them something to play with. Earlier, when I showed you images of the dolphin and the
Yes.
bears, etc., same thing in zoos as well. In fact, we are trying to work with the zoos in India as well, to see if we can do for something for the animals in our zoos, because they are also not doing anything. But it's very important that they do for their own mental stimulation as well. So it just becomes important that we respect and offer something for our beautiful pets and animals that we have around us, because if they are happy, so are we, right? So for us, it's what's important is the dogs are happy, the dogs are content, and stress free. So there we are.
Yeah. So any questions people have about Kong products, please DM us. We'll answer your questions. And
Oh yeah,
thank
sure.
you,
You can.
sir. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your information about these toys, how to use them, different kinds of toys which are available. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for
Thank
granting us
you.
the opportunity, and hope people take some nice takings from us. You can already hear my dog playing with the speaker.
Yes.
He's the crocodile that I showed you from earlier, and yeah. I'm sitting and talking to you. He's playing by himself. That speaks more
Nice.
by itself. Thank you so much.